cooking with Advocate Aurora and dreams never expire. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad C. No Roper here with my sister, Chef Adija Smith. How you doing, sis?
I'm good. Hey, y'all.
And we here for episode 2, Valentine's Day edition, Love You to Life meal. What we doing today, sis? Talk to us.
Listen, it's Valentine's Day, and everyone is always looking for an opportunity to create a fine dining experience. And you can do that at home,
right?
And you can do it healthy,
okay,
and good.
Okay.
So we're going to create a meal that is great for that one-on-one time with your special person, or even if it's just for a random day and you just want to eat a good meal. But this is something that is easy, healthy. So let's just jump into it. Let's
jump right into it. What we starting with?
So we're going to be making a cilantro lime rice today, but we're going to substitute using white rice, and we're going to use cauliflower instead.
Okay.
So we're going to break down that cauliflower, make a rice. We're going to do a stuffed salmon, and then we're going to do a sauteed asparagus.
Sound like a meal.
So let's start with making the stuffing for our salmon so we can get that in the oven, then we'll go to the other things.
Now remember, this is an exquisite meal for that special summer. So you don't eat this meal with anybody.
Oh, no.
This the next level meal for the next level individual.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's get to it, sis. What we starting off with?
So we're going to start with 8 ounces of cream cheese. Now, if you want to just be more conscious of your calories, you can do a fat-free cream cheese. But we're going to go with Philadelphia because it is my favorite brand.
Okay.
It's nice and creamy, so we're going to start with that here. So why don't you get that open?
Gotcha.
And then we're going to just start making that filling, okay?
Philadelphia cream cheese. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what made you think of stuffed salmon? What was on your mind when you came up with
You
this
know,
recipe?
salmon is one of my favorite types of protein, and there are so many different ways you can make it. You can make blackened salmon, you can do a honey glazed salmon, you can do it with a type of sauce, and the stuffed salmon, you know, it just kind of, again, takes it to another level, and this is very appropriate for a Valentine's Day meal. So
Got you.
We're gonna get that open,
okay,
and then I'm gonna chop down some spinach, and we're gonna get that sauteed a little bit, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut down this spinach a little bit. Remember I told you last time, you gotta make sure you hold that blade. So we're gonna cut that down just like so, okay? Because we don't want real big leaves in our mixture there. And then we're gonna saute that in a little bit of extra virgin olive oil.
Okay.
Okay? So Chad, go ahead, chop that garlic.
Okay.
And I'm also ask you to chop that onion up, and then we're gonna get it going.
We're doing them separately, correct?
Yes,
okay.
do them separate. Nice.
I think we should be good, right?
I think we good.
Cool.
Go ahead and throw that in there for me.
All right.
So, big Valentine's Day plans. You plan on cooking for your wife, or
I wouldn't put it through that torture, but you know, it's all good. You know,
Right.
I'm just gonna go ahead and buy something to eat. But yeah,
you can always share this experience with her, and I'm
Absolutely.
sure, you know, this is a meal that will be easy for just about anyone to prepare.
Gotcha.
And it won't take very long, so you ain't got to wait all day to eat.
Yeah, I cook for her, but she might not make it to the next Valentine's Day, so I'm gonna go ahead and wait.
All right.
So
now, while you chopping that onion up, I'm going to go ahead and get this skillet warmed up.
Okay.
Because what we want to do is we want to break down, we want to cook down the garlic and onion before we add it to that cream cheese.
Gotcha.
This is one of my favorite things to eat, I tell you, Chad. And like I said, it's one of those meals that you never get tired of, and you can have a lot of different side options with it. You know, if you want to eat a baked sweet potato, if you want to eat some buttered noodles, some brown rice, the options are endless.
One thing I like about breaking up the onion this way is you don't have to get your cry on.
Oh, you do not have to get your cry on.
Get your Justin Timberlake and Cry Me a River, but now this is all right here.
Oh yeah, listen, food processors, choppers makes life a lot easier in the kitchen.
Yep, most definitely.
So I definitely suggest, you know, home cooks, start taking advantage of all of those different gadgets because they're designed to make life easier for you.
True that.
All right, so you got this garlic ready for me. I'm gonna get some of that in here. So we're using about 2 tablespoons of garlic and about a tablespoon of onion. And this part doesn't take long. We really just kind of want to break it down. Go ahead and throw that spinach in there for me.
Absolutely. Gotcha.
We're just gonna sear this a little bit before we get to adding it to our cream cheese mixture.
So being that it's February, which is Black History Month, I noticed that a lot of our ancestors would use whatever part of the animal they could to feed themselves. And it's just amazing how far they've taken things from what they didn't have to what we are today. And I think it's just an amazing thing that we were able to do as human beings back in the day to create sources of food from the small amount of things they had, the small amount of options, I should say, that they had.
Absolutely.
I think it's amazing. So for us to be able to do what we're doing right now, it's really an honor and a privilege to be able to do, to be able to do these things, to have these gadgets and things of that nature. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, because, I can remember stories from my grandparents, and they talked about how, they had to do a lot of farming and gardening and things of that nature, and they turned a little bit into a lot. I think that's where just even the idea of how we bake in the Black culture, we, that's where things like the pound cake came from, or tea cakes. Our families didn't necessarily have a lot of options, but they were able to turn something great into the few things that they had.
Right.
That's that creativity that is running through our veins, because our roots definitely run deep, and I think this is a great representation of how we're keeping that going.
I couldn't agree with you more.
All right.
All right, so we're done with our sauteed spinach.
Go ahead and throw that inside of that bowl with the cream cheese.
Okay.
And then I want you to just beat it.
All right. I'm going to get my Michael E. Jackson on. You hear me? Here you go,
all right, I'll take that for you.
All right.
All right, so go ahead and use that hand mixer and just start blending.
All right.
Blending it.
I don't know why she gave me this. I'm the wrong person to have it, but
Just hold on to the bowl, because it will take off on you. It will.
We will not edit it out if it take off, y'all.
All right, turn it a little lower. Yep, until you can really get it mixed up there. And while you're mixing that in, so this filling for our salmon is really just a combination of different cheeses and, our veggies, our spinach, garlic, and onion. Gotcha. We're gonna add some Italian cheese. So this is about 1/4 of a cup of Italian cheese that we're gonna add to that. And then we're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
You just keep on blending. We're gonna add a little bit of black pepper.
And I am not a chef, ladies and gentlemen, so if I can do it, even the caveman can do it.
Oh yeah, you can do this. And we're gonna add some Himalayan salt.
Okay.
And this is just helping to add that extra flavor. And now you're just working on making that creamy texture, okay? So while you are continuing that part, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get our salmon ready.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we're cutting the salmon to be prepared to be stuffed, correct?
Right. So what we're doing is we're going to create like a pocket here. So I've pre-sliced of salmon fillet into about 3 to 4 ounce pieces. Okay. And then we're going to just create a well here. So I'm cutting a slit right through here, but not all the way from end to end. That creates that pocket for us to put that stuffing in, okay?
Now, question. Yeah. What if we're allergic to seafood? Is there another protein option we can have?
That's a great question, and people do have seafood allergies. So this is a dish you can do with a chicken breast, if you like. I've seen people use pork loin. So yeah, you can choose the protein of your liking, and this stuffing will still complement it very well.
Gotcha.
So
it's good to know.
In the meantime, we're gonna just season this up. Seasoning is one of those things where I say, do what makes you feel good, what you like. But you can always try, a blackened fish season, different Creole seasons, but then you always have your complete. Complete has just about everything in it, so you don't have to try or use a lot of different seasonings. Yeah. So we're gonna just go ahead and season this good. All right, I got a little bit of complete on there.
Now, there was a chef I saw do some seasoning, right? Mm-hmm. And he did like this. Now tell me if I'm doing this right.
Yeah, that's the fancy way.
Okay. I just make sure. I always wanted to try that. I always wanted
It
to try
doesn't
that.
necessarily make it taste better, but it make you look like you know what you're doing.
See, that's all I want. I just want the effect of the look.
Right. So we're gonna go ahead and just season that up. And then after we season that, I like to spray it with a little bit of olive oil because in the baking process, you want that seasoning to really just kind of stay on that protein. And now we can actually go ahead and start stuffing. So why don't you move those beaters and stir that up for me. I'm gonna go ahead and spray this pan. We have our oven set at about 360 degrees. And we're gonna bake this salmon for about 20 minutes. It doesn't take very long.
Right.
And you know, some people like their salmon, you know, like they like their red meat or steak. Some people like it rare or well, but we're gonna go ahead and make sure that this is well. We're gonna cook this well done.
Okay.
And it's still gonna have a nice soft texture to it.
Gotcha. Okay, so we stir it up.
So it's nice to stir it up. And I'm gonna just take a little bit of that and I'm gonna fill that pocket.
Gotcha.
So I don't want it busting out the backside. I want to kind of keep it even Steven, right on up in there, okay? Because what's going to happen is as it's baking, it's just going to ooze and bubble and just help create some really good flavor, okay?
Gotcha.
So that's mine. Now I want you to try it. Chef on the G.
Chef, let's get it. All right, Chef, let's get it together. Here we go. Let's try this.
And this is a great example that anyone can do this. It's really not that. There's no wrong way to. Exactly. Even if your stuffing doesn't look perfect, it's still going to bake out a little bit anyway. You've
been doing this for years, so as long as I'm not busting out the sides, which I'm not.
You're looking good. I think you can do the other one too.
I'm looking good. Y'all see this?
That's what I'm saying. I really believe you can prepare this meal.
You know what? I'm gonna call you.
All right.
I'm gonna have you walk me through this again.
All right. And now, as we get this in the oven, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start working on our cauliflower lime rice, which I think you will find pleasantly surprised at how delicious it is. And it's not even right.
I noticed we got gloves on. But that's because we just on TV. But you can do it however you want to do it at your house.
That's right. You eating it. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get this in the oven.
All right. So now we got our fish in the oven, our salmon in the oven. What's our next step, sis?
So now we're gonna work on our cauliflower lime rice. And there are so many different ways that you can prepare this. This was actually probably originated using a long grain white rice or a jasmine rice. People can use brown rice. There are different ways, but this gives us the option to make it more healthy by using that cauliflower and breaking it down to a rice texture. And I tell you, when you eat it, you'll be surprised at how fulfilling it is. I personally like it even better than using actual rice.
That's what's up. I wouldn't even, if you'd never told me and I would just ate it, I would never know the difference between
You wouldn't. Gotcha. So go ahead, pull the greenery off that cauliflower for me. And we're gonna go ahead and use that chopper again and break it down. Now I don't want you to make sure you don't over press. Because we don't want it to be too fine. We still want it to have a nice rice texture, okay?
Gotcha.
So you break that down and we can get it going.
Okay, cool. So just basically pull them apart.
Yep, you're gonna pull those florets right apart and maybe just cut them in half before you throw them in the processor. And then after you get finished, throw it all in that little silver bowl.
Gotcha.
See, this is easy. Anybody can do this.
Anybody, even a caveman, like we used to say.
You know, I have a teenager and he's very, very experienced in the kitchen. Just from learning to do just simple things like this. You know, you can't be afraid to experiment. You'd be surprised at how more fulfilled you are when you actually cook at home. You know, I'm totally in support of visiting local restaurants and things of that nature, but it's nothing like cooking with your own love.
That makes sense.
You're doing good, and I love how you holding that blade, Chad.
Somebody told me back in the day, episode ago, by the way, to make sure you control that knife. So I'm just trying to get my control on.
That's right, because we don't need any visits to the hospital on Valentine's
Janet Jackson vibes, you know, control.
Right.
All right.
Yep, so go ahead and throw it in the chopper for me.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see what we got going on over here.
All right. Exactly.
Boom.
Good, good. And you see, it still really looks like actual rice.
Right. And we putting it in a bowl?
Yep, throw it in that silver bowl right there.
Gotcha.
And then we're gonna get the rest of it going. Then we're gonna move to our cilantro. And while you're doing that, I'm just gonna roll these limes because we need to get some good juice from the limes. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Nothing like a juiceless lime, I tell you.
I'm telling you. And this is one of those dishes where, you know, some people like, you know, a lot of the zest. They like it nice and citrusy, or not. But I always say, you know, start with a little and then add more if you like.
Yeah,
that's right.
You can't go backwards. You can always go forward.
That is the truth.
And that's in life too, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all caught that gem.
That was a free gem.
Free game. All right. Finish the rest of this. Put this in the bowl.
Perfect. Perfect. I'll take that. And then in the meantime, I want you to go ahead and chop down some of that cilantro for me. Now let me show you how I want you to do this.
Talk to me.
We want to make sure we're not getting a lot of the stems in there.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go ahead and scrape those leaves down a little bit. Oh, cilantro smells so good.
Yes, it does. So that you scrape, then you cut.
Right.
Okay. Never would have known it.
Because you know, it's just something I like to do. Because I try not to get too much of the stem in there. I really want the leaves itself. Okay. Then I'm just going to kind of fold that over, and I'm going to get to chopping. And this I do want fine.
Fine. Okay. Got you. And I've realized, I've noticed something when it comes to these type of vegetables, or if that's what it's called. They give it
these are herbs.
Herbs. These kind of herbs. There we go. These herbs give the meal such a hint of this or a hint of that.
Yes.
So it's just pleasing to the palate.
Yes.
I noticed that about using these type of herbs.
Yes, yes. Cilantro, parsley, different things like that. Basil, absolutely. Yeah. Very, very fragrant herbs that really adds a lot of great flavor to your entrees. Absolutely. So now it's time to get this rice cooked.
Okay.
We got about 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in here. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and add that garlic, some chopped garlic. That's about a tablespoon or so.
Okay.
Yep. Let's let that get fragrant and cook down a little bit. And this doesn't take very long. This rice takes maybe about 10 minutes or so to cook.
And she's calling it rice, but we're really using cauliflower.
We're really using cauliflower.
We're using the word rice, just so you guys understand what we mean.
Absolutely. But again, it's also about how you like your rice. Right. You know, the texture, if you like it a little bit more crunchy or soft. Yeah. Absolutely. So we got that garlic in there. We're gonna go ahead and add the cauliflower. And what we're gonna do is make sure that we get all of this coated with that olive oil.
Olive oil? Gotcha.
Yes, so we're just coating that up, and as you can see, it really does look like rice.
It looks just like rice, absolutely. Now, we were speaking previously about how our ancestors was able to take nothing and turn it into something. This is a example of that, taking something like cauliflower and turning it into rice, even if you may not have the opportunity or the option to have rice.
Right.
Or if you're just trying to do something for dietary purposes.
Right.
This gives you an opportunity to turn, quote unquote, nothing into something else.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, it's about just being creative. You know, sometimes we have conditioned our palates to only appreciate or like certain things. But there's always more than one way to skin a cat, is what my grandfather used to always say. So this is an example of that. If you're dealing with health issues that requires you to lay off the carbs, like diabetes or different things like that, this is a good alternative. You know, if you're a diehard Mexican food eater and you like all the rice, here is a good alternative to how you can prepare rice in a way that won't be so detrimental to your health.
Makes sense, makes sense.
So we're gonna go ahead and cover that just a little bit and make sure that it's simmering on low, because I don't want it to scorch. And in the meantime, if you can cut a line for me, so we can go ahead and make sure we get that juice ready, because we're gonna be ready to season this up in just about a minute.
How many we need?
Just one is good if it's been rolled and has a nice, you know, juice in it.
And we're going here with the juice.
Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna squeeze it right on in here.
Oh, we're going straight to it, okay.
We're going straight to the pan.
Okay, we're going straight to it.
But you can use your juicer so that you don't lose your juice.
There you go. I just want to show my skills in case there was one that was happening.
But remember, if you at home and you don't have a juicer, you can squeeze it.
Get your squeeze on, you hear me? I want to give you guys options.
There you go. Turn it over for me. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and throw that cilantro in there for me.
Gotcha. Again, the chef used to do it this way, so.
You gotta make it fun. You know, cooking should be an experience. You know, I've always been taught that having good energy is something very important when you're cooking because it transfers into what you're doing, just like anything else. So having good energy while you are cooking definitely transfers to the outcome of your meal. So, Chad, you got great energy.
I strive my best, you know what I mean? But that salmon is smelling amazing.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
and
man,
it's almost ready. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we're going to go ahead and sit this to the side. And then all we have to do next is saute our asparagus. And we're going to be ready to eat. Because I don't know about you.
Boy.
But
my back and stomach is playing patty cake. Right now. That's how hungry I am. Damn it.
All right. We're going to go ahead and cover this up. Because this is ready. And I'm ready to taste it.
Okay, now that we got everything working and cooking, we got one more ingredient left. But I noticed something. I'm Chef C, as y'all can see. But today, you changed the game up. What we got going on over here?
You know, this is Black History Month. Right. And I just felt inspired to represent our heritage. And my shirt says, grown from strong roots. And that's truly what we are as a culture. Our people have come from some serious experiences, and it has afforded us opportunities like what we have today. I mean, you have a very successful career. I am definitely working in my passion, and we have an opportunity to share that with the world, which is probably something that would not have been ordinary back when our ancestors were paving the way.
And we're definitely grateful for sure.
Absolutely.
And I like that hat. What does the hat say?
This
Dreams never expire.
My brother gave me this one. And dreams never do expire.
They never do. I don't care how old you get, however long it takes.
That's
you
right.
You can get it done if you get started. The hardest thing to do is to get started.
That's right. Yep. This is the last step of our fine dining cuisine. We're gonna saute some asparagus. And you told me you know how to cook
I got this.
But I'm just gonna walk you through it.
Well, walk me through it.
Go ahead and throw a little bit of that olive oil in. We're gonna turn that on a low to medium heat. And we're gonna just saute. You know, the beauty in sauteing vegetables is it doesn't take long. And it's one of those things that I personally just love how I can control the texture because I'm able to, just kind of saute. And it'll give you an opportunity for me to see if you know how to flip your wrist a little bit.
Oh, cause episode 1, I was doing my thing. Don't forget now.
Right, so go ahead and throw those asparagus in there. And I like to just let them do their thing, cook for a few minutes, and then I'll season it on the back end. So we're gonna go ahead and let that just kind of saute a little bit. I like to just kind of throw it around a little bit, the oil, just to kind of coat that asparagus. And you can hear the sizzle. You know it's doing its job.
Yep.
And once this is done, then it's time for us to put a fork in it.
Let's get ready, because I'm ready. I don't know about you, but I'm starving.
He always starving when I'm cooking.
Every time. And the bad part is I come in hungry, which is never a good idea, because everything, if we messing up, it's good to me right now. But
right.
The good thing is we got her and not me, because I do a lot of messing up when it comes to this.
He all right with that.
So, sister, we got everything plated and ready to go. It's looking amazing. My stomach is jumping up and down. So talk to us.
So, Chad, we did it. We have fine dining for Valentine's Day. Something anybody can do. We have our stuffed salmon over our cauliflower cilantro rice, our grilled asparagus, and of course, we got to wash it down with a little sparkling apple cider.
Sparkling apple cider, man. Well, ain't nothing to do. First of all, I want to thank our sponsor, Advocate Aurora, for allowing us to get another couple episodes in,
Absolutely.
Man. So we want to salute Advocate Aurora because this whole idea was to eat to live, not live to eat.
Absolutely.
And right here, we like to call this our Love You to Life edition, Valentine's edition.
Right. Yeah? Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And should you decide to try your hand at this fine dining experience, Tag us. Dreams never expire.
Yeah.
Confectionately yours. Show us how you did. We'd love to see how this experience changed your dining experience right at home.
And we're gonna post you up too. We want to see. So don't send us a crazy looking plates. Now send us those good looking plates. Cause we're gonna post it up just to show y'all some love.
That's
for
right.
showing us some love.
That's
Again,
right.
thank y'all for coming out and taking your time to watch us. And let's eat.
Let's dig in.
Let's get it. Oh man, this is it.
You might not want to watch the rest of this.
We'll see y'all next time.
Bye.